She did not scream. That was the detail that haunted the playback feeds. The human female's pupils dilated fully, swallowing her irises in absolute black. Her hands, soft, unarmored appendages designed for delicate tasks, dug directly into the razor-sharp chitinous mandibles of the Gorgon stalker. She braced her boots against the predator's towering thorax, muscles bulging beneath her synthetic skin suit, and pulled. Tendons snapped like ship cables. Fibrous armor splintered apart. A biological failsafe triggered by grief had overridden every physical limitation, bypassing structural boundaries of her frail skeleton, transforming her into something entirely unhinged. 10 minutes earlier, the ethercore hub had been quiet. Senior Officer Rex adjusted his optic visors, who was staring deadpan at the flashing red text scrolling across the primary surveillance terminal. Level 4 biological warning. Human juvenile proximity. Junior Officer Ver clicked his mandibles in skepticism, sensory tendrils twitching. Leaning over the illuminated console, he tapped a heavy claw against the structural readouts of the bipedal mammals traversing the station. No exoskeletons. No internal venom sacs. Bone density pitifully low. Skin highly susceptible to tearing. The idea that such a delicate species required a station-wide safety mandate seemed absurd, administrative panic at its finest. But Vi had spent 3 cycles doing riot control on the outer rings. He knew what real apex threats looked like. Humans just appeared soft. Down in Docking Bay 4, the lighting hummed on low-power maintenance. The air was cool, tinged faintly with recycled coolant. A human female sat on a solitary transit bench, gently bouncing a small fabric-wrapped bundle against her chest. The infant cooed softly, entirely unaware of the vastness surrounding it. It was an isolated sector, a blind spot in standard traffic. That was precisely why the Gorgon stalkers chose it. 3 of them dropped from the ventilation grating above. Liquid grace, native to deep space hunters. Segmented legs absorbed impact silently. The human looked up, her breathing hitching violently. She clutched the bundle to her collarbone, backing toward the bulkhead, but the perimeter was already closed. The lead stalker lunged. It did not aim for the adult. It swept a heavy, bladed forelimb inward, hooking the bundle from her grasp. The infant shrieked, thrashing as the predator lifted it and dropped it into its secondary acidic feeding maw. She threw herself forward, but the stalker casually backhanded her across the deck. She hit the metal plating with a sickening thud, sliding limply. Up in the hub, Ver shook his head. It was over. The frail creature would remain down, paralyzed by shock, forced to watch her offspring consumed. But she did not stay down. Rex leaned closer to the screen. His ocular implants struggled to process the spike in her telemetry. The bioscanners surged violently, registering a critical hardware malfunction. Chemical fires ignited in her blood. A massive flood of endocrine hormones coursed through her system in an instant, shutting down pain receptors and supercharging her muscles. Her deceptive fragility vanished. She planted her boots on the deck. Breath ragged, heated gasps escaping, she stood. She was no longer just a mammal. She was the most dangerous creature in the anchorage. 8 meters separated her from the lead stalker. She closed the distance in a fraction of a second, her boots denting the metal grating. The predator barely had time to register her sudden, berserker state. It swung a bladed limb to impale her. She caught it with her bare hand. Skin tore, blood welled, but she did not flinch. She used her grip to rip the limb downward, launching herself upward into the stalker's primary faceplate. Her adrenaline-fueled hands seized the thick, acidic mandibles. Bone and cartilage snapped with wet, sickening cracks. Jaw hinges gave way entirely. Ignoring the corrosive burn on her forearm, she plunged into the feeding maw and pulled the infant free. The stalker hissed, lunging at her exposed flank. Pivoting on her heel, she tucked the child against her chest and drove her free fist into its midsection. Each strike echoed like dropped cargo. Her knuckles caved the thoracic cavity into splintered chitin and dark fluid. The predator collapsed. Stalker 3 attacked from behind, claws scraping her shoulders, tearing through the synthetic suit. It wrapped its long limbs around her neck, attempting to snap her cervical spine. She could not use her hands. She was shielding the child. She threw her head back, smashing her skull into the predator's sensory cluster. It recoiled, exposing its vulnerable throat. She sank her teeth into its corroded primary artery, clamping hard and jerking violently. Pressurized fluid sprayed across the docking bay walls. The third stalker collapsed, bleeding out weakly on the cold deck. Then she simply stood, rocking the crying infant, whispering soft, trembling shushes, ignoring the carnage at her feet. 20 minutes later, emergency bulkheads hissed open. Medical droids hovered in, scanning her with diagnostic lasers. Results transmitted instantly to the security hub overhead. Rex and Ver stared, paralyzed. She had 0 internal damage. Heart rate stabilizing. Aside from a laceration on her palm and a minor bruise across her knuckles, she was unharmed. Down on the floor, armored security teams used industrial scrubbers to collect the biological remains of the 3 apex predators into sealed hazard bins. Ver swallowed hard, sensory tendrils flat against his skull. Trembling, he reached for the command console. He pulled up the station-wide safety mandate, the one he had mocked less than an hour ago. He did not speak. He pressed the final approval key. The screen flashed green. Observers finalized the do not approach directive across all sectors. Humans were permanently reclassified in the Universal Registry. Please follow my channel for more videos. One click from you can change my life.